I can give you a simple formula in order to price your items, but that's just going to make you a commodity just like everybody else. But I got good news for you. Hi, I'm James DeLong, the founder of Savvy Kingdom and the Crochet Masterclass series. And in this video, I'm going to break it down to you. I'm going to give you the simple formula, but I'm also going to tell you there's a lot more to it, and I'm going to show you why you should be thinking about these when you're pricing your product. All right, so to break this down as simply as possible, I'm going to give you like a real life scenario. So say for instance, you wanted to sell a beanie, and let's talk about the cost of the beanie and material wise and how long it takes you to make it, and also how much your hourly wage would be. So let's just say for instance, it cost you $8 in materials. So you bought $8 in materials worth of yarn, and now how long did it take you to make this? So it's 2 hours. So if you can crochet a little faster or whatever, but let's just say 2 hours. And let's say that you thought an average fair or fair wage would be $10 an hour. So now you're looking at cost of $8 of materials and then 2 hours at $10. So total is $28. Now there you go. That's it. Simple, right? So $28 for your beanie hat or your crochet hat. Well, there's a lot more to it, and I'm going to explain to you right here why you shouldn't be thinking that way, because that's what everybody else does. Now that you're here, I'm going to tell you, you should go far beyond that thinking, and I'm going to teach it to you. So if you stay to the very end, I actually got a little bonus that I'm going to talk to you a little more about that. But I teach this to my student all the time. I want you to think about, there's a lot more involved with your product than just the $8 of materials and the 2 hours of making it $10 at $28. What about the overhead costs? How long did it take you to get this materials? Did you have to go to the local yarn store? Did you shop? Did you drive somewhere? Did you order online? Now that you got that factor in, what about how did you market it to them? Did you actually spend time to take pictures and energy to do that? So that's time and money. That's not free. Your time isn't free. What about listing it? Did you put it on Etsy? Did you put it on Ravelry? There's a cost to some of these things. There's a fee they get out of it. So just right out the bat, besides the normal, the price of the materials, the price of your hourly wage, and then the amount of time, you got to think about the overhead costs. So I would tack on immediately another 10% on top of that. And then this is where I tell people, so that's going to give you, I guess you would say, your wholesale price. So they're adding the 10%. But now I want you to think about the retail price, where you should be multiplying by 1.5 or 2 times. So that item, that you're selling for $28 should technically sell anywhere from $45 to $50. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because there's a big difference between the value and the pricing of something. So, and I want to explain it to you because I want to tell you, this is what I teach my students, and I tell them, don't think about the actual product. Think about the problem that you're solving. So if a person, again, wants to have a certain status, or they wants to have a certain type of look or feel, can you provide it for them? Are you that type of person where they see your brand name or whatever they see, they're like, okay, that's really high-end stuff, so everybody knows about it? Well, if so, you could charge more. So now, going back into, so we're talking about the pricing of your handmade items. So going back to like one of our other videos, we talk about branding. How do I see your brand? Do I see it as you make crochet items, or do I see it that you make wearables? Do I see it that you make home decor? There's a big difference between the two. So that's what I wanted to tell people. So now when I just gave you, I broke it down. So if you want to finish this video now, you have, because I gave you the formula. It's your cost of materials times your hourly wage, and then just add them in. But that's not just it. So I'm telling you, there's a lot more to it. But if that's the math that you want to go to, that's what everybody does. And you're here because you're not like everybody else. So let me explain to you a little more. So before we do that, I want to ask you the question of the day is, based off the formula that I gave you, what kind of extra value can you add? So think about that. So if you're going to give somebody a beanie hat, or if you're going to give somebody a scarf, what other things can you throw in there? Is there any type of bonus you can add in there? Is there any type of tips you can tell them? So you can say, hey, here's some washing instructions. Can you give them any type of, like, so if you gave somebody a really expensive yarn, product or commission piece that's made out of like some certain yarn, do you give them some type of washing care? Do you give them an extra bag? Do you give them something else that, one of our students, she actually makes pocket shawls, and she gives them a really nice card that gives them washing instructions, and she gives them a mesh bag, so that way when they put it in the washer, that's extra value. So you're not just selling, you're just time and effort. Think about it. So just adding that, say for instance, that bag was another $2 or $3, well, you can charge another $10 for it because you put it together as a package, and that's the value you're giving somebody. So I want you to not think of the simple formula that I gave you. I want you to think about the problem and the value that you can solve for them. This is the part that I enjoyed the most. And most of my videos, I actually do this. This is the little bonus that I give everyone because I want you to start thinking differently. I want you to become a royal seller. I want you to understand that there's a lot more involved in starting your business and growing your business and becoming a brand than it is just to make something and sell it. So what I want to tell you right now, because we're talking the subject about pricing your items, I want you to go to Google, okay? Do a search for some of the most expensive crochet items you can find. Just type in high price crochet items. So once you do that, I want you to realize the person or the page that you're going to, I want you to take a look at them. Like for instance, if you type in crochet handbags and look at the different prices by, expensive crochet handbags, I'll bet you they'll take you to places such as like Macy's or something like that. And you see those handbags that are selling anywhere from $100 to $200 to $300. And so think about it. Why, if I was to call this, a crochet handbag and I sold it on my website or at a craft fair, that can only get 20 or 30 bucks from it. But how does Macy's sell it, or whatever, company, how can they sell it for $200 or $300? It's because of their branding. It's because of the way that you feel about it when you bought it from them. It's like, okay, it's the name. So you could tell somebody, oh, I bought this from X, this artist or whatever, this person. So you want to make people feel that way when they're buying your product. And then I can tell you right now, there's gowns, there's wearables that I've seen up into $8,000 or $9,000 for crochet pieces. Why? It's because that person's like, think of an artist, a painter. There's struggling artists out there, or painters, that can barely give away their items, and there's other people that just put their name on it, can sell it for thousands and millions of dollars. So it just depends. That's because of their branding and what they've done. So when we talk about pricing your items, it's a whole different factor when you start adding your branding, your problem you're solving for this issue that you're giving somebody. So again, I can tell you based on the videos and stuff that we've done in the past, and I'm going to tell you start following some of my other videos. We got a whole series on how to start your crochet business. I want you to go through those, because those, after you go through a few of them, you're going to start seeing a common pattern. Is the fact is, you are your brand. Once you can start getting that through your head, then the pricing, the web page, none of this stuff matters, because it's going to be a matter about you and the value that you give to somebody. So that's the most important that I can say. So if you get a chance, go ahead and make sure you subscribe to this channel. I hope you found great value for it, and I'll see you in my next videos.